Well, we're joined here in the studio. I think both of you have been on the show before at some point, right? I know you have. Julie's
Sure.
been on.
Yeah.
So, but you haven't been on together, have you?
No. This is a first.
Not with video either.
Well, that's true. And you've got to see the video because we're all wearing black. I got the memo. So I'm with Julie Bonner, Jeff Brack, the co-producers of a movie called Over Again, and just recently premiered. We're going to talk a little bit about it today. Does that sound fun?
Yeah.
It's great.
We're talking about something else.
Well, no. And Jeff actually wrote and directed
I was going to get to that.
Okay.
This is from someone that always hosts her own podcast, so she's trying to get all this stuff in. I'm just trying to ease into it.
You know.
So you wrote and directed it as well, Jeff. Tell us a little bit.
I did.
Well, let's take a few steps back here.
Okay.
Over Again is your first film?
No.
Okay.
So I went to film school at U of A, and then I was a TV producer, and I did some short films, and I did a pilot for a TV series that didn't become anything, which most don't. So that's not unusual. Big hiatus where I took a detour into athletics, where I was in the tennis business as a tennis pro and running facilities and tournaments for 20 years. But then I came and I joined some friends, and we started Roadhouse Cinemas, which is a dine-in movie theater concept that's been doing really well. And it got me back near this thing that I love so much, cinema. It got me thinking. So I wrote a script, and that was actually a feature film that I've been working on trying to get made. And so to bring it back to Over Again, it's much easier to get a short made than it is to get a feature made.
Okay.
So a good buddy of mine, Nick Duarte, he's a local filmmaker, great guy. He and I would meet monthly or bi-monthly and talk about our films, and we have similar sized projects we're trying to get made. And one day he just said, "Hey man, let's just make some shorts." It was actually, he's the one that gave me the push. Yeah. Say, go and, he said, you're real interested in the Tucson music scene, and you'd started writing a script about that. Why don't you write that? Do a short film about that. So it was kind of his push that direction, and it inspired me to do it. So I sat down and wrote a short film, and like you said, you don't have to get permission or funding or go meet with financiers or anything. You don't have to get permission. So we shot a short film.
So you wrote, you directed, produced. So Julie, how did you finagle a co-producer credit? How did you get in on this? What did you do?
Well, I think because I'm the ultimate partner, I'm just saying, not to brag,
You are.
but I'm here to support Jeff and in any way possible. And so with my expertise with like creativity and my connections, helping Jeff however I could. As
a producer should do. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get it from the idea stage to the screen.
Yep. So however I could help.
I'll take it back even further, though. When I was writing my feature script, life gets in the way of these kind of projects and these endeavors. And she was actually one that would push me to go right. A lot of times people are trying to distract you.
Right.
And let's do this instead. She would say, clear your schedule, go Wednesday nights. I mean, she would actually support me going to the coffee shop and writing. And she's the reason she would say, set some milestones, get it finished. And so she pushed me, and I got that script finished. So it just kind of continued when we decided to do the short film. She was supportive, and in any way she can be. She's very networked. She has great ideas. She knows how to connect with resources. So,
and we are a nonprofit radio station, so we don't do promotions and things of that nature. However, I do think your coffee shop needs a plug, because that became your office for so many years.
Yes. Well, we were literally just there today.
It's Cartel, right?
Yes, we love working at Cartel Coffee Shop. And while Jeff was working on his script and writing, I generally work on my freelance design and marketing projects. So it feels like amazing quality time to sit across from each other and maybe not talk, but just like be there and work on our creative endeavors.
Yeah. Well, keeping each other accountable, because you're there. Like, I got to be. Well, she's still working, so I got to keep working. He's like, well, he's still working, so I got to keep working.
Yes.
I don't know. There's a mystery about coffee shops. I don't know what it is, but when you're writing, it's just the perfect amount of noise, but nothing's too distracting, and it but it's isolated because you don't know any of the other people other than my wife sitting across from me. So you feel like you can focus. I don't know what it is, but I probably wrote 80% of my feature in there and 100% of my short in there.
So on the short film, you get this idea. Nick's like, hey, let's do shorts, and he's like, okay. And I understand this short it was an adaptation of a feature that you'd been working on, no? Or is this...
Yeah. It was it was a feature script I had started based on the idea of I really I'm the music booker at Roadhouse Cinemas. So in our 3 locations, we have live music, and I've gotten to know a lot of great local musicians, and I just fell in love with the whole Tucson music scene and just the talent that's here and the musicians. So I really wanted to write something that would incorporate that into the movie. So I had started a feature script with the intent of having an all Tucson soundtrack.
Okay.
And so what I did is I plucked those main characters out from the feature script, and I wrote the short script using those characters. Similar idea, not the same story. So I carried over that same idea with the music, tying that being so integral. And I talked my good friend Cameron Hood, who's
big
Cameron
fan,
well,
big fan, yeah.
Part of Ryanhood.
Starts our show off every week.
It's their music.
Their music.
Yes,
that's cool.
They've been with us ever since the beginning.
Yeah, I knew you know him well. So I knew I needed a song written before. Normally, all the music's done after a movie's shot, but in this case, my character needs to perform live in the movie. So I knew we had to write the song before the production. So I talked Cameron after several meetings, talked him into writing an original song for the movie. And then we gave my lead actor, cast out of LA, 4 weeks to master it so he could perform it live.
Can I add to that too?
Yeah.
So what was really fun to see about this process is we know so many amazing local musicians, and Jeff and Cameron just really hit it off. But when he thought about the heart and emotion that needs to come from this title track, he thought of Cameron Hood. And also he shared his script with Cameron. And so Cameron really took in the script. They met, they talked about it, really digging deep through that process. And the song that Cameron created is amazing and ties so much into his story, and itself is telling a story. And when we got to hear a little demo, like over the phone, I was like, I think Jeff
Literal
cried.
tears in the eyes.
Tears. And then I was like,
he captured it. He got it.
Yes.
He understood it.
He dove deep into the script and he pulled stuff out.
And I told him he has a hit.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. You told me that he hit.
I did.
And you may not know this. I'll break the news here that he and Ryan have decided to make an official Ryanhood song.
Oh, wow.
And so they've tweaked it and they're in the process of recording it. It'll be on the next album.
Fantastic. Well, there you go. Breaking news. I love breaking news. We're always breaking news here. This is fantastic.
So exciting.
We the current version though is available on Spotify, right? The current
well, I would call that the songwriter, not the rough
Cameron's
draft.
version, Cameron's song, but soon
demo.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's in the demo's called Over Again.
It's called Over Again. Yeah.
Okay, and you're right. It's on Spotify.
We have a Spotify playlist.
Okay, well, and you get this idea. You start the process. How long does it take to get from okay, I know I want to do a short and I've got a character and I've got kind of an idea, but you have to go through, you've got to find all the technical people, you've got to find locations and actors, and like how long does this take?
Well, let's see. I started writing in August. The script came fast. It did, and I can tell you about how Cameron helped me with that. But the script did evolve, and it got better. But that was a pretty short window. And then between, the end of August, we shot in November. I mean, it's a short window, but it is a short film, so it takes a lot of preparation. Yeah. In some ways, you have to be hyper precise because you only have 2 days of shooting versus 15 or 20 for a feature. But in this case, we had enough time for a 2-day shoot to get organized. But I would say a couple of months.
Okay. And what's the length of the final product?
It's 15 minutes. 14 minutes, 55 seconds.
So in 14 minutes and 55 seconds to tell a complete story is challenging.
Yeah.
I mean,
he says,
every word has to have a precise location in that script, I'm assuming.
Yes. In fact, most people, after they've watched it, especially because of the nature of the story, they want to watch it again. So
Jeff, they want to watch it over again.
Yes.
That's why she's co-producer, people, right there. There we go.
But you do go back and rewatch it to pick up on the clues that have kind of, because of the, the sort of twist at the end, which is pretty common.
Can you tell us about it without giving away the
like
14, 15?
Like a premise.
Yeah. It's definitely a love story. It's about a musician that the night he meets his wife, and it's kind of the meet cute in the club after he's played a song that she it rivets her. I don't know how to not give away too much, but
I think it is a touching. It's a love story, and there's in 14 minutes and 55 seconds, there's complex emotions that came across. I mean, I had the privilege of seeing the premiere, and you have two characters that are clearly in love and clearly there's some tension between them, and it's just amazing that in that short time frame that you can develop that. That's to me when I see a short, like a 2-hour film, I think is not sometimes enough to convey some of these complex thoughts.
Yeah.
And I thought just doing it in such a short time frame was fantastic.
Oh, thank you. That was, you write what you hope is going to be layered and nuanced, but you also got to find performers. Yeah. And we found just two phenomenal people. I could not be more happy with the performances.
You put like a casting call out. These weren't local actors.
We wanted to use as much local talent as we could, but there's going to be some key places where there was people I wanted to work with. And the cast, we just decided to go for the best we could get, especially once COVID hit. It's become an online process.
Okay.
And you put out a call and you get submissions and you go through this whole back and forth.
How many submissions
you got? for the male lead, we had like 950 submissions.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And for the female lead, we had 1,300. And we had to go through those. But it's it's very efficient. I have to say it works really well. We were impressed.
Can I share a little behind the scenes?
Yeah, sure.
You quit asking. You're co-producer. You just jump in there and start telling us this.
Well, another fun piece of this project, it was such a family project. And so from myself to our kids, being a part of the process, and Jeff narrowing down casting to about 15 leads, both male and then the female lead. And then we watched them and watched their audition tapes, reading the script. And then especially the male role, he has to also be a musician. He has to play guitar. He has to sing and emote and bring that energy. And Lexi and Michael both brought this like charisma that we were looking for. And it was really fun to be a part of it, including, our kids got to see the behind the scenes and those audition tapes. And by the time Lexi and Michael came, they're celebrities like in our kids' eyes. Like Seaver couldn't wait to like talk to him, and Seaver, you'll see Seaver in the film briefly. It's really fun.
There was something that that X factor we were looking for. And, I would like to think that we took it as far as we could for even a short film, the kind of meticulous approach that a feature film would have, where I didn't want to just cast people that were going to be good at saying the lines. They needed something that likability factor that Julie mentioned, that charisma. Yeah. So, and my example I give all the time is like Meg Ryan. She walks on the screen, you just like her. You don't know why. There's just some people that just have that, charisma. And so that was part of what we were looking for. Can they, how good are they with the lines? Do they emote? Do they understand the script? What's their chemistry together? But then on top of that, we were looking, who do you just like them immediately? Because I needed, like you said, in a very short amount of time, the audience had to fall in love with that couple. And then, when things progress with the rest of the story, it means something to you.
Yeah. Well, one of the characters that I was very fond of was Tucson.
Yes.
Tucson is a big part of this short. It all takes place in the downtown area.
Yeah.
The Century Room was the main focus in Barrio Viejo.
I'll tell you, the Hotel Congress and Century Room could not have been more supportive. I'm still astonished at how generous they were, the time they gave us. They're dark on Tuesdays, so we planned to land it on that day where we did our shoot.
In November.
Yeah. And they gave us the day to shoot. And, when you're in that club, it looks like nighttime any time of the day. So we were shooting all day into the evening, and it all looks like nighttime. But we really wanted to show off the beauty of downtown, and it can be shot anywhere. But to the fact that it's Tucson,
and if it's local musicians, I think that ties in that theme as well. So you had the premiere; it's out there. But now what? Like, do we check it out on Netflix? Like, where does someone see Over Again?
Well, it's not out there. We have to be careful. It was a private premiere, and the reason why I have to stress that is that film festivals, they're looking for a premiere status.
Okay.
Certain festivals have different premiere
statuses. So that's
statuses.
where we are now. We're looking at film festivals. Okay.
Yes. So we try to get it out there. I mean, there's a few reasons I made a short film, and one of them is, to get behind the camera. It's been a while to have a recent credit on my IMDb, something in recent years, to show off Tucson, and festivals, well, I'm sorry, something I forgot, to have something to show producers when we start talking about feature-length projects. They want to know, have you made anything recently? Well, now I have something to show. We made something recently. And then kind of the bonus at the end is, festivals. You can get it out there and you can get some exposure for not just you, but the talent in the film, the other filmmakers involved.
Is there like a circuit, or are you targeting specific festivals? Is there a process behind like where you submit or?
Yeah, I mean, my process was, we're very proud of the film, so we decided to be very ambitious. The odds are very long to get into these high profile festivals, but we're trying. Okay. We're gonna try for the big ones, but there are other festivals that are going to be a good fit. So hopefully we have a shot at it.
When do you find this out?
It's like
from now until
a trickle.
From now until the
so like about every month we're gonna get one or two notifications. I will share one that occurred to me just a couple days ago, and luckily I thought of submitting to it, but who knows? It's a long shot to any festival. But Nashville Film Festival, I thought, how did I not think of that earlier when I was starting this process? It's perfect. It's a city that's focused on live music, celebration of music, and their festival focuses on celebration of music. And so I thought, what a natural. So that's to give you an example of one that we're going for.
So as we're teasing this fabulous short film, 14 minutes, 55 seconds of heavily emoting, we're basically telling people you can't see it. Is that like at what point will the general public be able to see it, or is it?
Well, go ahead. You can answer that.
Well, we just have to get past the point where we're submitting to festivals that require. So I would say by the end of the year.
Oh, fantastic! Okay.
We'll post it on my site, and people can view it. Nice. We'll promote it for sure once we're putting it out there for the public.
I want to add a little bit to this too, and you brought up Tucson in general, and so. Like you mentioned, we filmed it in downtown Tucson. I love that he also hired a drone photographer to have that amazing skyline, like downtown city view right in the beginning. And then, like you mentioned, Barrio Viejo, which is it our oldest neighborhood in Tucson or one of the oldest?
It's one of the oldest.
One of the oldest, was a pleasure. And not only that, but some of the supporting actors are Tucson actors. And behind the scenes, he had help in the, what would we call we had students from U of A.
Oh, like PAs.
We had PAs. We had students from U of A and Pima Community College there.
Yeah.
Brought in Sean Olson from LA and Isaac Alonji from
Kansas City.
He's the amazing cinematographer. I think that's one thing that I think everyone will notice is just how beautiful it looks.
Well, I'll mention Sean, he's a very good friend of mine. We went to film school together. He's a U of A Wildcat as well. He lives in Burbank, works in LA. He's a fairly successful director, editor. I mean, he's an award winner. And he was a huge part of helping me get this thing done. He's just been a great friend, very supportive, very encouraging. And that he gets a co-producer credit because his support throughout the process and his resources and connections, and he helped me get people on board that I might not have been able to get on board. So
He also edited the film.
he also edited the film, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's phenomenal at what he does.
I love what you said earlier, doing it right and using as much of the local talent and then going outside where you needed to.
Mhm.
But I think what we need to do here is, as we're wrapping up, is we need to have you come back once this is more, once we've sort of gotten this circuit, the film festivals, and maybe have a recap of how that process went. But for now, I want to thank you guys for coming into this fabulous, telling us about this fabulous story.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.